Reflective Podcast.
Blessings and welcome to this brief description about the Fully Reflective Podcast. What is the Fully Reflective Podcast and what are its intentions? What is it meant to do? What is it designed to be? That kind of thing. So the idea for Fully Reflective came into me over the past 8 years, I guess, during what I would call my spiritual awakening, my self-realization process, my tangible reclamation of my soul back into its proper position. Which, okay, what does that mean? I was really stuck in my trauma. I was stuck in my identification with the trauma that had happened to me. I saw that it happened to me, not that it happened for me. And I wasn't living a pleasant life. I had plenty of things in place to maybe from the outside looking in, look that I was living a pleasant life. But in 2014, my entire body just shut down. Had mononucleosis and Epstein-Barr. My nervous system just shut down. I wasn't eating properly. I didn't really understand what I needed to eat in order to be real, actual, healthy, functional. I thought that was because I was young, I could just get away with it. And long story short, I found this Chinese herbalist, and I got educated on what genetically modified food was. And all along the process, I wanted to understand two terms really, really intensely. I wanted to understand the real meaning of the word Christ and the real meaning of the word Jesus, or who that was, or what is going on with that, because that guy is the most famous dude in the world. And I was interested in what made things famous also, because my dad did that. He picked up a guitar when he was 10 and became a legend by the time he was 20, and still is doing that. And so I started looking at what was the difference between people who are embodied in their soul and people who weren't embodied in their soul. And then some people ended up being the fullest extent of depressed, which led them to take their own life or leave this world manually, as I call it. Because it is like that. It's their life was so not worth living that they decided to stop living it. So then someone like Bruce Lee or Kanye stands out to me, and it's what is someone doing that allows them to live such a fulfilled life? And then what are others not doing that allow them to not live a fulfilled life? What are the differences between missing out on nothing and the feeling of missing out? So my testimony has really led to this thing called the moon. And it's not just the moon in the sky, but it's almost like a technique system for understanding the way that consciousness moves through the human body, mind experience. And there's the ego is the other main key term that I wanted to understand. I'm compressing it all into this quick little video because on Fully Reflective, I engage others. I engage others in what happened to you that led you to find anything valuable? What led whoever I'm speaking with, I engage them in their framework, meaning their psychological, mental framework that allows their identity to register as whole or functional. Because when someone's really dysfunctional, it's their identity is not registered in a functional way in themselves. They're fragmented, they're scattered. So when I see someone that is super functional in life and they're inspired inside first and foremost, and then they're inspiring others, that's super interesting to me. So Fully Reflective is about when someone is fully reflective. What is that? What is that? I would say full reflection is, that's the idea with moon, is that when you look up in the night sky and you think, oh wow, there's, if you're uneducated, you think, wow, that's the moon and it's creating its own light. That's misunderstanding of what's happening. The sun is the source of that light. And then at nighttime, we can't see the sun, but that light reflects off the moon and gets to us. I see this as an exact metaphor, exact quantum scientific metaphor for how the ego functions. And when someone is living such a sustainably fulfilling life, it's like their soul, which is connected to the source from which all things comes, their soul is funneling through their ego and into the world in some way of service. There's some way, somehow, they're giving back. And they're also getting. They're receiving and they're giving. They are the reflection of the masculine and the feminine, the solar and the lunar, the assertion and the reception. So the divine is moving through all of us into this world. Some of us has found a way to make it more functional and make it more sustainable. And those are the people that end up being teachers. Those are the people that have codes for us. Those are the people that inspire us because somehow, some way, we see a part of ourselves in them. We see something in them that illuminates, that inspires. Those words: illuminates, inspires, excites, sparks, turns on, ignites something in us that is that same way. That maybe we needed them as a permission slip, as a mirror, to reflect back to us that that's able to be done, allowed to be done, and whatever other kind of permission we need, do it. This is a permission slip to do it, to be it, to see that vision, to anchor that vision. So on this podcast, that's like a modern art format. Call it art, call it mechanics, whatever you want to call it. But these long-form dialogues are where you can kind of, without being rushed to like funnel your conversation into any one thing, it's like you can kind of just go and you can kind of discover. And because of the fact that you know that you're being witnessed for the particular format of a podcast, it's like wisdom, cheat codes, tools, tricks, helpful utility-based functional insights into what helps a human being live their life and live their fullest light. When someone says like, it's lit, you're lit, your life is lit, what does that mean? Well, you're reflecting your potential. You are fully reflective of your divine potential. How'd you get to be like that? That's basically what fully reflective means to me, but it might mean something else to you. And it's my intention to, in some way, just by honest, organic, sincere, genuine inquiry and listening to the river of, consensual, mutually blissful conversation, discover some cool, fun, helpful insights on these topics that I think have become, like spirituality's become disconnected from what it's really meant to be. And so getting stuff out of the head and getting stuff into the heart, making it utility-based, functional, helpful on a real practical level. So zooming into people's experience with ego, spirituality, psychedelics, spiritual insights from different lineages, Buddhism, Christianity, esoteric stuff, occult stuff, mainstream stuff, tribalism, political identity, gender identity, what works for certain people, what works for other people, what's not working for the collective. And meeting in that middle ground where multiple perspectives arrive at something that maybe one perspective couldn't have done by itself. So something like that. That's the intention here, fully reflective. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy, and zing!